Hello, Mr. Dolpazzo. That's me. With a drawing video. That's you. We're going to draw Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. There he is right there. Very popular little character. And you're going to need a piece of paper, a pencil, and an eraser. We're going to turn our paper horizontal, sideways. I think Mr. Baby Yoda with those big old ears. It's a little bit wider than he is tall, but it's pretty close. Draw lightly, of course. Pause, rewind as much as you need to. I'm going to start pretty much in the middle of my paper. That little, his collar of his jacket is pretty much in the middle, top to bottom. And I would say his collar, the first line that I'm going to draw is going to go from right about there to right about there, because we need a little bit of room on the side for the ears. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a curved line. It's slightly curved. It's not curved a lot. Curves a smidge. I'm going to go down a little bit. And across. And I'm actually going to do one below it. It goes about halfway across too. Curves down a little bit and then straight across. That's about like halfway. And his collar has like this little overlap on it. So I'm going to draw this half first, and then I'll do that half second. I want to curve this line at the top a little bit, and then I can go straight down and connect the bottom. We'll try to make it look like it's going around his head, which is what a collar of a jacket or shirt would do. And then over here, I'm not going to go straight down. I don't want pointy corners, so I am going to round that off a little bit. Kind of like that. And now the other part of the collar is actually a little smaller. It's a little bit skinnier. So I'm going to start a little lower than the collar I just made. I don't know if you can see that. It's a little lower. You can see, I can see that. And then I'm going to go over and curve up to my little dot. And then curve around and come down. You can see where the very end of the collar on each side, that's the part that curves up the most. In the middle, it's kind of a straight line, really. And then I'm going to curve around down here. I'm going to make it about as thick as over here. It might be a little bit skinnier. I'm going to come over. So you can see that this one's a little wider and that one's a little skinnier. You know what, I think I might have made it too skinny. I want to make it a little smaller, but not a lot smaller. How does that look in the old iPad? I like it. This is a very important part. We want to make sure we get this in the right place and with the right width. This way. I've got room down here for his little tiny body. And I've got room up here for his big giant head. And I've got enough room on the side where I can do his ears, because that's a very important part of our Baby Yoda. So that's right about where you want that shape. Okay? I think maybe we'll do the body first, and then we'll do the fun part, the head, last. Right about here, you can see where it curves. Not right on the edge where my finger is, but once it curves in a little bit, I'm just going to make a little line. You can see where it's not right all the way on the outside. It's just a smidge in. And I'll do the same thing on this side, just a smidge in from the end. That's going to be his arm. And then I'm going to go in a little bit more and make a line there, a little bit. And just so you know, that's his arm. That little thickness, that's his arm. And all the rest of this is his body, and that's his arm. Right? So if you look at the picture, what I'm doing right now is right where my finger is. So if you want skinnier arms, you put those lines closer together. If you want the arms wider, but you can see they're not very wide. It's got little baby Yoda arms. So I'm going to leave that line out there alone because I need to do the body first and then I'll do the arms after that. So I'm going to come to this line, and as I go down, I'm going to come out a little bit at the bottom because his coat gets a little bit wider at the bottom. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to go almost to the bottom because you can't really see his feet. Same thing on this line. Remember, this is the line on the inside, not the one on the outside. You can see where it just kind of gets a little wider at the bottom. Now, you can go straight across if you want. I'm going to make it just a little wiggly, so it kind of looks like a loose-fitting jacket, kind of. You don't have to make it that wiggly at the bottom, but you can. And he has a little stripe going right down the middle of his jacket. They don't have it on the picture, but I just brought up a picture on my phone, and of course this is a picture of the actual little Yoda, and he's got a little stripe going down the middle. So I'm going to do it like that, and I'll show you the picture when we talk about how we're going to color him in. So right about in the middle, is it in the middle? Nah, it doesn't have to be in the middle actually. I'm just going to go down. Now you notice that my stripe is not right in the middle of this line here. It doesn't have to be. In the picture, actually, it's way over more than mine, so mine's close. Now, if you want to do a couple little wrinkles in the picture over there, you know, just to kind of make it look like it is fabric, you know, it's cloth. You could just do a couple little wrinkles on there if you want. As many or as little as you want to. And that's pretty much it for his body. Pretty simple. So now we're going to do our arms. They're not very long. We're going to come out to this line out here. I'm going to go down. Not too far. And then I'm going to curve in. It's curved a little bit. Right in to the side. I'll do the same thing on the other side. Down and in. Don't worry. I know they look very short, but he still has a little sleeve, like a little, just like he has this thing up on his collar. He's going to have one of those down there, almost like he rolled up his sleeves because his jacket was too big. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out a little bit before I go down because this part of his sleeve is wider than what we just made. So I'm going to go over and down and then in. So when I say over, I mean out. So this one goes that way, this one goes that way. Out, down, and then in. Well, I definitely have one a lot thicker than the other one. So let's see. I think maybe I'll make this one. Are my sleeves the right size? I think they are. So I'll make this one thinner maybe. Yeah, that makes more sense. No reason why they would be a different size. And his hands, you can't see too much of them. So I'm going to start in a little bit from the sleeve, and I'm just going to go down and kind of like curl around. He's kind of like two fingers, sort of, like a horse's hoof. So this side I'm just going to go down, like that. Almost looks like he's wearing like a mitten. And then I'll do a little bump going in, so it kind of looks like he has like two fingers touching. Okay? And now the fun part, Baby Yoda's head. Baby Yoda's head is kind of like a big circle, oval-ish shape. So I'm going to start a little bit in. Remember, I want the collar to look like it's wrapping around his head, and the only way that's going to work is if I start the head in a little bit closer to the collar. Collar's here, head's here. So a little bit in more. Okay? Now, you can do this in one big line. I guess I'm going to have to do that too. Then we're going to go up and around and down. So I would say the top of the head is going to be right about there. So, like we would do in the art room, I'll draw it first. And then you can figure out how smooth or lumpy around his head is. So I'm going to go up, around, and down. Uh-oh, I hope it doesn't end up looking like a minion. I do like minions, but not right now. So what I'll do is I will look back in my iPad. Looking at the picture on the board. I think that's okay. I think that's pretty good. Now, if we draw lightly, which you are doing, we can always go back and fix the head later. Once we get ears and eyes and nose and mouth and stuff on it, then we'll decide whether Mr. Del Pazzo made a good head or a not so good Baby Yoda head. But right now, we're going to leave it. We need a head before we can do anything else, right? I'm going to actually start with the nose and work my way out. So my nose is going to go right about here. It's in the middle, left to right, but top to bottom, it's a little bit lower than the middle, which you can kind of tell where my finger is. And all we're doing for the nose, it's literally just a little almost oval. It's not very big. You've got a little tiny nose. Okay? Now, I'm actually going to make the mouth. In the picture over here that I have, he's got like a sad frown on his face. I don't know. I don't want to make him sad. So I'll just kind of make his mouth go straight across. Like that. And then they've got like these two little curved lines on each side. Because he does kind of have like little cheeks, which are hard to draw, but that kind of makes it look sort of like he has cheeks. Now the eyes are kind of interesting. They're sort of human shaped, but they're much wider. Not wider, they're much taller, I should say. So I'm actually going to hop over a little bit from the nose, but I'm pretty much even with the nose. Now you don't have to make, I know I'm making this dot much bigger than I should, but in the iPad, it looks very funny. In the iPad, they look small. When I look at the iPad, I just see this very creepy little creature, but trust me, it's going to change. So from that dot, I'm going to make the bottom of his eye, and it's a slightly curved line. And I'm going to go down a little bit, and then up, and then down a little bit, and then up. It's kind of like a little smile. Now you'll notice I didn't go all the way to the side of the head, but now he looks like he's sleeping. I didn't go all the way to the side of the paper, the side of his head, but they're pretty big. You got to wake this kid up. Here we go. Wake up, baby. So now I'm going to put the top of the eye. That, where am I? Okay, so I'll do this one over here. I'm going to go up, around, and down. Now you'll notice this side is a little pointier, and that side's a little wider. So that's kind of what you want to do. Now he's starting to look more like a creature. Did I make that eye too big? I think I made that eye too big. I think I got to make it a little lower. There we go. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Now, his pupils are like gigantical. So instead of just drawing a circle in the middle and making him look surprised, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to draw the whole circle. I'm going to draw part of a circle on this side and then part of a circle on that side. You can see how big his eyes are. So part of a circle on that side, part of a circle on that side. Very, very big pupils. Now, I'm going to color mine in. You are not. But we're going to make two reflections, the light bouncing off the shiny part of his eye. We're going to make two reflections in each eye. I'm going to put a nice big circle there, and then a smaller one on this side. Nice big circle up there. Now remember, with reflections, you can always make them smaller later. You can't make them bigger. Once you color them in, you can't uncolor it. So it's better to make those circles big, and then if you don't like it, you can just continually color it in until it gets smaller. So, but we want them to be big. Okay. Now he also has a couple little details above his eyes. So he has kind of like, I guess I'm going to call it an eyelid, sort of. Doesn't really touch anything. Just kind of goes around most of his eye. Make it a little smaller. Little detail. And then we also have a couple little wrinkles. Mr. Del Pazzo has these on his eyes too. A couple little wrinkles up there. See? I must be part Yoda. We're going to get now, the real Yoda has lots of little tiny hairs on top, but we're not going to make all of them. You can make as many as you want. I'm just going to make a few at the top of the head. Kind of like they did on that little picture right there. They just did a few of them. But in the picture that I'll show you in a second, he's got like hundreds of them. We're getting there. He still looks creepy. Little creepy little creature. Okay, hopefully we make the ears. It'll be Mr. Baby Yoda. Okay, so we're going to use as much paper as we have. If you have more paper than I do, you can make them bigger if you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start right where the collar meets his head, right there. And my ears are going to go over and then up. So they're wider at the bottom, over, curve up, and then out. So right about halfway is where I curved up and went over. So it's kind of like over, and then up a little, and then over. It's not like this big wiggly wave in the ocean. Don't get too wiggly. Same thing over here. Over, and then up, and then over. That looks like he has wings. Top of the ears, much easier. We're going to go way up here by the top of his eye. See that? Up here. And I'm just going to go slowly downhill and then curve it right at the end. So this one's a lot easier. Slowly downhill and then curve at the end. His ears aren't like really pointy. They're kind of a little bit rounded on the end. And we have one small little detail left. And because we can see the inside of his ear and the outside of his ear. So I would say maybe a little bit lower than halfway. I'm going to curve up. And then over. Right to the end. Right, so I'm going to start a little lower than halfway. And then up. And over. And right to the end. So that's the inside of his ear. That's the outside. Is that it? Ta-da! Oh, I didn't color his eyes. Now, this week you're sketching it out. Next week you'll color it in. You can do that later with markers if you have a marker or a Sharpie. So I'm going to just color this in only because I want to see if it changes how he looks. Because with Baby Yoda, those big eyes are what really makes him look like Baby Yoda. So I'm just going to do this very quickly just to kind of see how it looks. Oh, that changes it completely. Oh, he looks so much more like Baby Yoda now. So if you're wondering if your eyes are right, once you color them in, you will know the answer to that question. I was kind of questioning my own eyes, but now that I've colored them in, oh, there he is, baby. That's Baby Yoda. There's little baby boy. I don't know if he's a boy or not, actually. I don't know. So here's a picture I found on my phone. Oh! Uh-oh, what did I just do? There he is. Right, so you can see little baby Yoda. I've got light shining down. Trying to find the right angle where you could actually see him. There we go. So when you color him, he's green. This is my phone is it's just not showing up good with the iPad. But he is green. You can put a little pink on his cheeks if you want. You're probably going to want to Google him and check him out because this isn't working. He's got little tiny hairs on his head. You can see the pink inside his ears, and then the pupils are black. But he's definitely green. It's just not showing up very good. Some creepy pictures of him. What if I zoom it in a little bit better? So he's kind of like a light greenish kind of color. He's not like a dark green. And then the black pupils and the pink inside his ears. So week 1, sketch it out. Week 2, maybe outline it if you want. And then color him in. Oh, I'm sorry. And his jacket. Of course, like I said, you'll have to Google it. But his jacket is like a tannish color. You can blend tan and brown together if you want. You color this in with colored pencils or crayons. I would say colored pencils first if you have them. And then maybe crayons. And first time I've ever drawn him, so can't wait to see him. So when you're done, make sure you send them to me. I'll see you later, guys. Bye.